When I saw the first edited episode of Anyone But Me, I'll be honest, I think I was the first watch of it. I was like, how do I look? How do I look? Am I acting okay? Like, and I hate to say that, but I think a lot of actors have that same feeling upon first viewing. It's so hard to be objective because you're just so concerned about like what your performance was and if you were doing it right and if you looked stupid or pretty or whatever it is. But I remember it's so funny because I remember really loving the cinematography. I remember loving the colors that I saw, which was a fun and unexpected experience for me. I also remember being like, it is so exciting to see a young lesbian couple on screen. Like that was my biggest feeling about it, and having been like a queer teenager and not having seen other queer teenagers on camera, that was really exciting for me.
I think I learned I was going to be a part of Anyone But Me through an email, which I believe at the time we were not receiving on our phones. I received on a laptop at my apartment. And it was the total beginning of my career. I graduated a semester early from college, and I got Anyone But Me in the last semester that I like still should have been at NYU.
I think the episode that showed Aunt Jodie's complexity has to be the coming out scene. So it sort of starts with her doing her usual, like, oh, hey, I'm cool, and anything you want to tell me is fine. And then it gets real, it gets really real. And she wants to be okay. It's just she suddenly feels a little bit betrayed that she didn't already know. She then wonders what is her responsibility. Like, Aster's been spending the night, and what does that mean? And then Vivian says, most kids are sexually active at my age, and like there's just like a ton of information coming at her really quickly. So I think for me that scene's on my reel because I'm really proud of that scene, and I feel like Tina is the kind of director that, like, when I think about Tina directing, I almost can't even picture her because she's so inobtrusive, and and she would give us adjustments. Let's try a little more of this, a little less of that. But I really felt like I was in the room with Vivian, and we were really having that moment that for Aunt Jodie, like you could kind of plot like that was the tension for my character throughout the first part of the series. Is that an actual letter? Like the kind you get in the mail?
Sort of.
I'm so impressed. Do you need a stamp? I don't even know if I have any stamps.
That's okay.
I miss mail. I would love to get a real letter again.
Well, actually, this is sort of for you.
Uh-oh. What secret teenage code did I violate this time?
You didn't do anything. It's just some things are easier to write than to say.
Viv, you can tell me anything. That's one of the perks of not being your mother. I don't have to take the blame or the credit for whatever it is.
Shit, man. Okay. So, you know Aster.
I'm starting to. I mean, she's here all the time.
The thing is, we're not friends.
Did you have a fight? I can't believe two people as close as you would stop being friends.
We were never friends.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we're more than that.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
It's special. You have something special, I see that.
I'm gay. We're gay. We're gay together?
I think my first scene was, I think it was outside on the stoop when Vivian, I think it was one of the, with the exception of Battery Park, which is sort of its own thing. I think it's actually the first scene of the series, which was weird, was my first actual shot scene. And it was outside on the stoop of Tina's apartment with Dan, who played my dad, and obviously Nicole, who played Aster, and it felt good. Like, it felt like I had a dad, and like I had a girlfriend, and like I was leaving. So it actually felt terrible, but it felt good.
Everything will be fine, Viv. These are your best years, huh?
He also said these are the worst of times.
Westchester is not that far, you know.
Yeah, I know. Just not here.
You didn't think I'd let you go that easy, did you?
I'd hope not.
How was my first day on set? Do I have any memories of my first scene? I do remember, so my first day was exciting and nerve-wracking. I was very excited to be with my friends, to finally be bringing this character, Elisabeth, to life. I was definitely very nervous because, again, my training-wise, I wasn't used to film that much, and I wasn't sure, how I was going to translate. And I knew I was working with just amazing professional people, so it was a little bit of both. I do remember my first scene, which was with Archibald and Vivian, so Josh and Rachael. And I think he was escorting her to the classroom, and we bumped into each other. And it was just kind of like an awkward flirtation moment between Josh and I, and the first time I was meeting Vivian as the new girl in school. So just a little moment, and it was a lot of fun and sort of easy to do. It was always easy to be a little giggly with Josh because I always thought he was really cute and just so sweet. And so a lot of those moments were kind of real.
Well, look, here we are. Last stop, Moby Dick.
Oh, God, I hope not. Man, I read a lot of books twice, but that's not going to be one of them.
Hey, Archibald.
Hey.
You in this class now?
No, Vivian here, I was walking her to class.
That was nice of you.
Not really.
He kind of had to.
Yeah, she's new.
Oh, I didn't mean he had to. It was just, I did interrupt his lunch. I'm sure he would have done it anyway, but it's, he could have just pointed me on my way, but he was...
He's a gentleman. Who knew? I like that.
When I saw the first edited episode, my first reaction was, oh my God, I'm fat. That was my first reaction there. Then beyond that, I thought it was great, and it seemed so natural. Like, everybody seemed so natural, and it seemed like polished and professional and quality, and I was excited by that.